Notre Dame recruiting fans, welcome back to the video. My name is Brad Hughesby, and I got 7 more recruits or commits, you could say. I'm telling their story on how they committed, why they committed, whatnot. Um, Exciting stuff also. The season just started. Pretty much all of the Notre Dame 2022-2023 commits had games this past Friday. All of them did well, no injuries, thankfully. That's honestly the main thing. We know they're all going to do well and ball out, but just want to make sure they stay healthy. I will make a video in a few weeks on whose rankings I think will grow the most. I think that's interesting. Who will get the biggest bump? Ziegler, who you're watching right now, Nolan Ziegler from Grand Rapids, Michigan, is one of those contenders for sure. And I'll start out with him. A lot of family played at Notre Dame, grew up a Notre Dame kid, went to games, always wanted to be repping the blue and gold. Got an offer shortly after that. He committed. Michigan was also there. He had some family go to Michigan. He's from the state of Michigan, but Notre Dame was always special for him. As Jerome Bettis said best, the best players in Michigan go to Notre Dame. Ashton Craig is who I'll talk about next. Another kid who received an offer and shortly thereafter committed, received an offer on June 6th for the Irish Invasion Camp. Took official visits to Michigan, Vanderbilt, Nebraska, a few other schools, a lot of Big Ten schools. But Notre Dame was where he wanted to be. Ended up committing in late June on his official visit on June 26th, and he's wrapped up. Next guy I'll touch on is Eli Raridon, a guy who had a monstrous first game this past Friday. Eli Raridon's father played at Notre Dame. His grandfather was one of the trainers, one of the there's a better word for it. What Matt Balis does, one of the conditioning guys, strength coaches. He filled that role in the Lou Holtz era. So Eli Raridon has been Notre Dame fan since he was born. Actually, was born in South Bend. His father had him while he was still in school, and he's been a Notre Dame baby. Iowa made this interesting. Iowa offered early, always stayed on him, but Notre Dame just was there. They were always at school for him. He took an unofficial visit in April on his own, and that was when it was just like, okay, I'm shutting it down. Eli Raridon is one of 2 tight end commits. He is joining Holden Stays, who also had an 11-catch, 100-something yard game this past Friday at the tight end position. Ty Chan is next. Ty Chan didn't have a ton of offers before he committed, something in the teens, I think, but made his way out to South Bend earlier this year for the first time in June. Yes, I said that right. He did not see Notre Dame before he committed. He wanted to commit on his own. He's from Massachusetts. He didn't even have a junior season, but he said, you know what? I want to do this. I want to shut it down. Penn State, Boston College were a few other contenders, but in the end, Notre Dame had everything for him. I'll talk about these 3 guys. These 3 guys are also some of my favorite currently committed players. Jaden Mickey, cornerback from Centennial, California, actually matched up against Mater Dei in a scrimmage. Him and CJ Williams went toe-to-toe. Fabulous player. I think he's going to come in and play right away. I think he could start as a true or a redshirt freshman. I'm a huge fan of Jaden Mickey. This kid's only going to get better. I think he's a top 150, 125 player in the country. His elite speed, elite ball skills. His team is pretty solid too. I absolutely love Jaden Mickey. I think he's the stud. Tobias Merriweather is a kid who was being looked at by pretty much every single school in the country. Chose to narrow it down, though, to Stanford and Notre Dame. Oregon, Washington, Michigan were a few other schools that were there, but it was pretty much Stanford, Notre Dame. Didn't want to deal with the admissions process at Stanford. Notre Dame's football program is just elite right now. They're fine, but they're a mediocre Pac-12 team. He saw more of an opportunity to go on the big stage at Notre Dame. Liked his time in South Bend, and it just made sense. So he ended up committing to Notre Dame earlier this August, and he's a big-time player, 6'4", 200-something. He's going to be elite at the next level. Finally, Jalen Sneed. Jalen Sneed was definitely one of the bigger pickups, if not the biggest. He's the highest-ranked player. Schools like Oregon, Texas A&M, Tennessee, South Carolina were all gunning for him, but I think Notre Dame was in the lead and had the lead in this recruitment for a very long time. Loved Marcus Freeman. Was all about what he has to do. Loves the academics at Notre Dame. Everything just felt right. He committed in July. He had been a silent commit though for just about a month, and it just made sense for Jalen Snead. So that's the 7 more guys. I'll have another 7 next time, and that's it for me. Peace.